Alright guys, we've been talking about vertebrates, and now we're going to move on and start on invertebrates.
I guess Grandpa hasn't used the boat lately. Dear Tim and Moby, I need to describe invertebrate animals. Can you help? From Miles. Well, most of these creatures on the bottom of this boat here belong to the invertebrate group. Invertebrates are animals that have a backbone or spinal column. Invertebrates are animals that do not. Yeah, that makes us vertebrates. Well, me anyway. About 95% of animal species are invertebrates, which are classified into different groups, or phyla. Sponges, cnidarians, flatworms, roundworms, mollusks, annelids, arthropods, and echinoderms are all examples of invertebrates. Well, that's just the beginning. All the invertebrate phyla are broken down even more. Looking at something called body symmetry helps scientists to classify invertebrates. Animals with body parts arranged in a circle around a central point have radial symmetry. Animals with bilateral symmetry have two halves that will match if you draw a line down the center of their bodies. Asymmetric animals have no definite shape at all. Hey, you don't do that. Sponges are among the simplest animals. They filter food out of the water that passes through their bodies. Cnidarians sometimes have tentacles around their mouths with stinging cells that shoot out to stun and catch prey. Radial symmetry helps cnidarians find food passing by from any direction. Flatworms have long, flat bodies and bilateral symmetry. Most flatworms are parasites that invade other organisms and live off of them. Roundworms are the most widespread animal on Earth. Billions of them can live in a single acre of soil. Roundworms, such as heartworms, are animal parasites, but roundworms can be plant parasites or decomposers or even predators. Mollusks, like snails and mussels and clams, are soft-bodied invertebrates, often with a protective shell and a muscular foot that allows them to move around and anchor themselves. Land mollusks have lungs, and water mollusks use gills to breathe. Segmented worms, like earthworms, leeches, and marine worms, are also known as annelids. Annelids are made up of ringed segments. Arthropods are the largest and most diverse group of animals. The word arthropod means jointed foot, so it makes sense that arthropods have jointed parts like claws, legs, and antennae. They have bilateral symmetry and segmented bodies. Echinoderm means spiny skin, and it's definitely one thing you'll find in these animals. They also have an internal skeleton of bone-like plates, a water-filled network of veins, and thousands of tube feet. Echinoderms use their radial symmetry to eat as filter feeders, predators, or bottom feeders. I told you not to stay down there so long.
Alright guys, let's move on to our notes. You'll get 2 pieces of paper. The first one you're just going to cut out and stick it into your notebook for extra information. And the second one will be one of our foldables we do today. It's going to have flaps. You're going to cut it out around on the black line and just cut the lines to make flaps, okay? Yes, you can cut those out individually. So the word skin means not, and vertebrate means that it's an animal with a backbone. So invertebrate means it's not an animal with a backbone. Yeah, you cut them out individually, that's fine, buddy. You y'all a second to cut this out and get it moved down in your notebooks. One says exoskeleton, which just means an outside skeleton, which means instead of having the skeleton on the inside of their body, it's on the outside of their body. Yes, kind of like a crab. Good job. It's a hard outside covering that supports and protects some invertebrates.
Like a lobster?
Yeah, like a lobster. Good job.
Clam.
Clam. Good. So invertebrates are animals without backbones. 97% of all organisms are actually invertebrates. There's very few of us on this planet that are invertebrates. About 3% are invertebrates. All invertebrates are cold-blooded and are mostly small creatures. Invertebrates are split into categories based on their body structure. Which just means based on what they look like. And how they're set up. So we're going to talk about the different types of invertebrates today. Our mollusks, our sponges, our worms, our arthropods, our insects, our arachnids, and our crustaceans. Leave that put together. Okay, you can borrow one from somebody else, right? Alright, guys. So when you're done with this one, this is how it should look. You have it cut out just like this. See how he's got the flaps cut out? Because we're going to have some stuff to write underneath each flap, okay? So you should have it glued down on this side, and then your flap cut out, okay? Yep, either which one is fine. What you need, Brooklyn?
I didn't get one of the flaps.
Didn't get one of the flaps? I'll go get you one, honey. Thank you, Doc. You're welcome. Alright, we're gonna get started. So invertebrates, how do we classify them? So what is an invertebrate? An invertebrate is an animal without a backbone. 97% of the animal kingdom are classified as invertebrates. Can you name one of them? A what? Worm. Anything else? Squid. Crab. Kinsley.
Sponges.
Sponges.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Starfish.
Starfish.
Slugs.
Slugs. Good. Alright. So we'll start with mollusks. They have a soft body, sometimes covered with a hard shell. Mollusks have lungs or gills, and many mollusks have radula, a scratchy tongue-like organ to help them eat. So under the one that says mollusks, you can write soft body, sometimes covered with a hard shell, and just write have lungs or gills. And then write radula, and then what it is, which is the scratchy tongue-like organ that helps them eat. sponges. All sponges live in the water. They are simple organisms that are full of holes, and they stay in one place. Water flows through the holes, which lets them catch food. Sponges can be smaller than a marble or larger than a compact car. Fun fact, sponges were classified as plants before scientists realized they couldn't make their own food. So underneath the spot that says sponges, you can write that they live in water, they're full of holes, and they stay in one place.
Anything eat them?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. But you would think so since they can't move around. That would be a good thing to research, Kinsley.
Which one kills them?
Maybe. Under the flap that says invertebrates, just write animals without a backbone. Oh, okay, so fish, turtles, or fish and turtles and other invertebrates do eat sponges. That is good to know. Alright. Yep. Alright. Worms. Worms are the simplest organisms with a brain. They can be found in both land and water. They have soft bodies. Worms have bilateral symmetry, and their bodies can be divided into segments. So just write soft bodies. They have bilateral symmetry, and their bodies are divided into segments. I'm not sure. That would be a good thing to research. Maybe fly traps eat other animals. Oh, that's fine. Alright, arthropods. Arthropods are a category of invertebrates. Invertebrates have segmented bodies, hard exoskeletons, and jointed appendages, which just means legs, arms, claws, or antenna. So you can put that they're a category of invertebrates, and then those three things that they have: segmented bodies, hard exoskeletons, and jointed appendages. they can live anywhere. So insect characteristics, they have three main body parts, a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. The head has one pair of antennae or two compound eyes, and they can usually fly. So you can write that they're the largest group of arthropods. There are three main body parts, and then they have one pair of antennae and two compound eyes.
Can you sometimes fly?
Yep, you can write that they can usually fly.
Oh, I think some ants can fly. The ones that go to
Yes, some ants can fly.
People thought that spiders were insects, but they're actually arachnids.
Yep, we'll get to that in just a second. Alright, arachnids. Arachnids kill more insects than any other animal. Arachnid characteristics, they have two main body parts, a thorax and an abdomen, 4 pairs of jointed legs, no antenna, and they have special mouth parts like fangs. So just write what's in bold. 2 main body parts, 4 pairs of jointed legs, no antenna, and they have special mouth parts like fangs. Alright, crustaceans. Almost all crustaceans live in the water and breathe with gills. They have 2 pairs of antennae, 3 types of chewing appendages, and 5 pairs of legs. So you're right that they live in water, breathe with gills, and then their characteristics. classify them into all of their different sections. We have our arthropods, our insects, arachnids, crustaceans, sponges, and worms. So we'll start here. Legs and hard exoskeleton, that would be an arthropod. 3 pairs of legs, that would be an insect. More than 3 pairs of legs, you would separate it into if they have antenna or if they don't have antenna. If they don't have antenna, then it's an arachnid. And if they have antenna, then it's a crustacean. And then on the other side, soft bodies and no legs, you will separate it into if it has lungs or gills and sometimes a shell, or if it has no shell at all. If it has lungs or gills and sometimes a shell, it's a mollusk. If it has no shell, we'll separate it if it has holes, full of holes, or a segmented body. If it's full of holes, it's a sponge. If it has a segmented body, it's a worm. So let's use our notes to classify the following invertebrates. What would that be? Would it be a mollusk, a sponge, a worm, an arthropod, insect, arachnid, or crustacean? Crustacean, good. What's that? Arachnid, good. What's that? Mollusk, good. What's that? Good. Insect. What's that?
Worm.
All right. We'll move on to our other. Have any of you made a cootie catcher before?
Yes, I'll see y'all make them all the time.
That's what we're doing, is we're gonna make a cootie catcher about vertebrates and invertebrates. When you get it, just cut it out around. Cut it around the edge. here. So all I did was I took it, have it cut out like this. You fold these 4 corners back onto the other side of the paper. When you're done, you should have one side that looks like this, and one side that looks like this. Good. Yep, fold it back. Yep, just like that. Just like this.
So we have to fill it out of it.
No, it's already got all your information on it. Other way for you. Okay. Now you can do the rest. Thank you. Alright. So hold them up when you're done with this part. So I know you have one side that looks like this and one side that looks like this. You have questions? Yep, I got you, Logan. Fold it on the other side. So these, take it, and this way. Yep. Alright. Now you try. Alright, now once you have one that does like this, you're going to take it on this side. You see these that have words on them? All you're going to do is fold them to where they meet in the middle. So you should have, it looks like this. Yep, there you go. Just so they meet right here in the middle. There you go. That's okay. Yep, so you start off with this side. It's okay.
Hold it backward. Like this. Right along the line, so if you don't, it's not gonna open up.
Does not have to be perfect. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take, look like this, 1 and 2,
Flip it
fold
over.
it right over so it meets in the middle. Okay? So now what you're gonna do,
You were doing right.
Y'all, if you don't get it folded along the lines correctly, it's not gonna open up.
okay? Just like that.
And you're gonna fold it back.
Just flip it back where it meets in the middle. Alright, now you try. Yep, all of them in the middle. Okay, you should have the numbers on the inside. Okay? You have all 4 in the middle. Yes.
Oh, I did it.
Yep. We have
He makes it all right.
now your second step. All you gotta do is take it. Just like that. Okay?
Look, once you do that part, you have it like this. You're gonna take it, this is the hard part, you're gonna fold it
It should look like this.
halfway, like this. Crease it, open it up. Fold it halfway again, increase it, and it'll help it to help your fingers go into these.
Yep.
Then when you open it back up, finger, 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 finger. And then you have it. See?
And then you have to bend it.
Good. Yep.
What?
There you go, you got it.
You gotta hold it the other way. Let's see.
Like that?
Yep, like that, just like that, okay? Good. Yep, and then all you gotta do is fold it in half, that way. Good, crease it, and then open it back up. Fold it the other way. So you got it this way, and you got it this way. And now when you open it back up, you should be able to. Yes. Yep. And ta-da. Good job, guys. Alright, good. So now we got. Here, how do you have yours? Like that? Good. You fold it down half. Yep. Other way. Yep. And then crease. Good. Back up. The other way. Outside. With the fixture on the outside. Yep. And then now when you open it back up, you should just be able to slide your fingers through and put it together.
What am I?
Ta-da.
Mine's not doing that. Oh,
You gotta pluck out the pieces.
Is each different? I think that's why it's on the outside. I can help you pass it.
There you go. Alright guys, y'all have a take it out the door activity to do today for me. Let me grab some sticky notes. Alright. Does anybody else need any more help before we move on? Okay. Yeah, keep those. That's gonna go in your notebook. No, you'll keep that in your notebook separately. Alright. Alright. Quiet, quiet. I'm passing out sticky notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What you're going to do with the sticky notes is you're going to write an I have statement. So I will give you an example in just a second. An example I use, you cannot use. Okay? So, for example, on my sticky note, I have bilateral symmetry. What am I? What is it? It's a worm. So that's what that would be an example of something you could write on your sticky note. And I just said simple, I have what am I statement. Okay? And then on the back of your sticky note, write the answer and your name. Okay.
Why did you put this sticky notes? Sticky. Well, we're gonna do that. No. So you take one of these examples. Wait, so.
Or another example would be, I have a body full of holes. What am I? Okay?
Do you put the answer on there as well?
Yes, you can use your notes. And then once you're done, just stick it up on the paper I have up there. Doesn't matter, you put your name in the front or the back. Whichever you prefer. So what's one thing you can tell me about invertebrates? What's one thing you can tell me about invertebrates? Cassidy?
Oh, I have something else.
That's fine. What you need, honey?
I did it.
Huh?
Do you put the answer?
Yep, you put the answer too. That's what am I? You stick the answer on the back of your sticky note. Your I have statement should be on the front. I know you don't believe me.
Invertebrates have no spine.
Good, very good. Invertebrates have no backbone. Yes, sorry. What? You're good for whatever. Good job, guys.